of HYMOM, where our focus is helping youth with mind over matter. This is part two of our two-part Valentine's Day series, and we're going to talk about when love was missing. What happens when you're a child and that place where you're supposed to first encounter love is the place where you feel rejected? I am joined here today by three very special guests. To my right here, I have our spiritual advisor, Prophetess Valeria Freeman. To my far left here, I have Dr. Johnson. She's a licensed psychotherapist. And our guest of the hour is Miss Amiah Lee. And I'm going to go ahead and let each of you ladies introduce yourselves, starting with Prophetess Freeman.
Hi, my name is Prophetess Valeria Freeman, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sasha Johnson, and I'm excited to be here as well.
Hi, I'm Amiah Lee. Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. I could not have done it without you. And somebody out there needs to hear what we have to say, and it's a blessing to be a blessing to people who are hurting and who are struggling. And so I'm just gonna jump right on in there, and I'm gonna ask you, Amiah, when was the first time that you, as a child, that you felt unloved and unwanted?
The first time I would say would be when my parents got divorced when I was younger. The first memory I have was in first grade, and my dad was upset, and he was just going off, and he was like, "I wish I just would have aborted you, or told your mom to abort you." And so that was like my first memory of not being loved and not being wanted and desired in the world. And so that stuck with me. It still sticks with me today. And from there, it just got worse with him, and he just was a constant reminder of how I wasn't wanted and loved in the world.
Okay, right. And so, as a child, how did you process that? You know, like my dad didn't want me, and he said he wished I was aborted and never had me. How did you process it then as a child? And then I also heard you say that it still sticks with you today. So so my questions are, how did it affect you as a child, and how does it affect you today as a young woman?
As a child, I feel like I was just broken. I was lost. I was broken. I didn't know myself then, so I think it definitely altered the way I viewed myself growing up. I didn't love myself growing up. I didn't think I was able to be loved from other people. So the more I grew up, and especially the more I got into high school, I just put myself in relationships that broke me more, and I put myself into relationships that were abusive mentally, verbally, physically, and that all stemmed from my dad. I was like, well, this is okay. He did it. This is okay. He didn't want me. And so having that terrible image of love in the beginning, I just followed that growing up. Mm-hmm. And it brought me down so many destructive paths to the point where I hated myself. Mm-hmm. I hated the way I look. I hated the way I talked, I sound. I hate the fact that I existed. Mm-hmm. I just didn't feel like I was worthy to even get up and breathe. So the fact that I kept getting blessed with that, I was just like, why? I don't deserve that at all.
Dr. Johnson, do you have any words for children who may be experiencing this, because their parents make them feel unloved and unwanted, then they feel it themselves, and then as they grow in life, they have these unhealthy relationships because of the seeds that their parents have planted?
Absolutely. So I see it a lot because it's the rejection that they're feeling, and they're trying to fill a void from it. So the older they get, they tend to go to the things that are normal to them. They've normalized this type of feeling, this type of undeserving, lack of self-worth. And it becomes like self-sabotage. It becomes body dysmorphia. She talks about, not liking herself, not liking the way she looked, things like that. It turns into so many different things. But the biggest thing that I tell people when it comes to this is you have to go for what's not the norm. So you feel like, oh, I'm used to this. Well, my dad did this, so it's okay for everybody else to do it. No, you have to go for the opposite. You have to go for something that doesn't feel comfortable, because it doesn't feel comfortable to be told you're beautiful, or to be told that you deserve this, or to be told anything that's the opposite of what's your norm, and the things that you go after a lot of times what you're comfortable with. So we deserve the uncomfortable, but it's hard to go after it because it's not our norm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you. You have any comments?
Well, I like what she said. I like what she said. I like, she just, like she said, you got to not be comfortable. And we scared to go after what we need to go after because we're comfortable and we're in that comfortable zone and we do not want to get out that comfortable zone. We want to stay there. But it's good to get out. So I agree with what she was saying, and we can make it.
Yeah,
We can make it. We really can make it. It's hard.
yeah,
Life is real. The reality is real. What we go through is real, but we can make it. Get us a great support team. We can make it.
absolutely.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Did you have siblings in the house?
So it was me and my brother, and I have 2 older brothers. We did not live together.
Okay.
We were separated. My eldest brother was not in the house with us at all. He has a different mom than us. We still love him like he's like our full brother. But one day we were in Walmart, and my mom had me and my brother, and my dad was like, I'm taking him. You can take Maya. And from then, like, we lived completely separate lives. So I was with my mom, and he was with my dad. The short amount of time I did live with my dad, he didn't feed me. Like, he would just lock me in a room. He would be on the railroad, so he would say, so it would be like random women comes to the house, like, have you eaten? I'm like, no, I haven't eaten in days. So could you feed me? So he was just very neglectful. So when my mom got me, I never told her this stuff until I was older. But once she got me, obviously life was better. It was still hard because you already have that damage from one parent. You don't feel safe with the other. It's just like, why would I believe you love me when, like, he doesn't? So it's definitely a weird place to be in. But yeah, I did have siblings.
All right. And y'all excuse me for getting emotional.
okay.
Like, this topic is just very near and dear to my heart. And it's not about me. I'm not trying to make it about me, but it does.
Okay. I think it is about you. I think all of this that you're doing is about everybody in here.
Okay.
So I think you're fine. Your tears are fine.
Okay.
And I was just curious, hearing your story and what you're, the things that you're saying, how are you able to pour into yourself now when, you've had somebody take so much from you so early? I was curious.
Yeah. I think it's just understanding that that was just my reality and understanding I can change that now. I can't change what happened to me. I can't change how that experience made me feel, but I can utilize those emotions to make myself be better. And understanding that they have their story and that's something they have to live with, but I don't have to allow their story to write mine.
Absolutely.
That made me want to be better and be better for the kids I'm going to have one day and the people around me. Like, I don't want to be that poison. And I don't want to keep being poisoned. So I just had to make that choice. That's literally, they always say it starts with your mind. It literally does. You just decide, like, I'm sick of this. I don't want to keep walking on this road and allowing myself to be damaged and damaging myself for believing the stuff that people are saying about me. That's not true. So
What age were you when you came to that conclusion?
I would say 20. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be 21 in April. So this last year, it was just, I was growing up. I was like viewing my parents for who they were as people and not who they were as my parents. And I think looking at it from that perspective allowed me to understand them more, have more grace and forgiveness for them, but also take that guilt off of myself of like, I'm obligated to talk to you because you're my parent, because I'm not. I'm absolutely not. Yeah.
So what is it that you think you needed as a child to, other than your parents' love, right? What is it that you wish you would have had as a child to help you navigate through what you were going through?
Just anybody that cared, like anybody that saw that I was hurting and could support and help and just be. You obviously have people in your family that love you and care for you, but I'm the most emotional one in my family, so I felt like I was always the black sheep because it's like, why are you always crying? Why are you always upset? Why are you always expressing yourself? And it's like, this is just me. And so I never felt safe just being me. So I feel like if I could have just been me and existed and just was able to live without comments, I feel like I would have just have been okay, honestly. Because not only did I have to change myself, I had to bury every emotion that I felt from the hurt of like my parents and just life.
Wow.
So I was just burdened.
Do you feel comfortable like utilizing your voice now after going through all that and just kind of, it sounded like you had to mask a lot.
Yeah.
So do now at 20, about to be 21, you said, do you use your voice? Do
I
you
feel
speak
like-
up for yourself?
Yes, definitely. I'm very outspoken now. If somebody does something I don't like, you're going to know. It's going to be like, I don't appreciate that you did that. And this is how it made me feel. And don't do it again. But also I learned like sometimes just removing yourself is better than speaking. Like you can't explain yourself to everybody. Sometimes you just have to know your self-worth and walk away. So
Well, that's good. I resonate with that as well because I'm like you said, like I had a hard time, and I still do in a sense, speaking up for myself and just advocating for myself. And I'm really shocked that I'm even doing a podcast because I'm so just quiet and reserved and just to myself. And sometimes because of my personality, people don't understand it, and I feel like I've had to mask a lot because I have gotten negative feedback about who I was, and so I can relate to that. And I'm still healing from that and navigating through that and speaking up for myself and expressing myself. So yeah, thank you for sharing that because it resonated with me. Okay, and so you went to live with your mother. And so how was that experience with your mother? Did it get better after your dad left?
So she was a mom. She did everything she had to do. It was definitely a safe environment. Okay. I think she just turned emotionally unavailable.
Okay.
And I'm a very emotional creature. So like I don't care if you can put food on the table, like can you talk to me? It was stuff like that. I wanted to feel like my mom was my best friend. And I necessarily, like, still don't feel that way. I still don't feel that way. She's a great mom. She was there. If I call her right now, she'll come. But it's just that emotional difference. And I feel like that's just in our growth. And especially after my brother passed away, she completely shut off. And I sympathize with that because it's like I understand that's hard. But also, like, this should have brought us closer together, not separated us more. But that's her journey to walk. We aren't from here. We moved here from Alabama. Okay. So didn't have all the money in the world. It wasn't like awful, but we definitely had our struggles. So going through that and being in like an all-white community, I was bullied. And so then moving here, having that culture shock, it was just a lot. Just a lot of different dynamics feeding into what I was going through growing up.
Okay, all right. You have any comments about that? As a single mother, she was saying she lived with her mother and they moved to Alabama, and she was just talking about the things that she endured and how she felt like she couldn't. Her mother was a good provider, but it was that emotional piece missing. Do you have any experience with that?
We didn't have the emotional, and I learned that through my sister-in-law, my son, wife, to tell, when you get off the phone, I love you, but it felt funny, but as I kept doing it, I grew, like me, it was not 8 of us. I was the protector. I had to protect everybody, and then when they got older, they didn't want to protect, they want to fight against you, and all that. So I understand abuse, but I'm getting to the place now, listen to her, I'm getting to the place now, you have to separate yourself. And you got to know who you are. What is your value? What do you feel about yourself? What can I do about myself to make my life better? Because it can get better. It definitely can get better. So that's where we got to grow. Lord, what do I do? How can you put people in my life? Show me how to do this. Because I can't do it. I see it every day. And so growth is very good. And having your support team is the best. Somebody will listen to you and tell you you're wrong. You're wrong for what you're feeling and saying. And if you got that, you can conquer the world. And if you got God, everything is possible. But you got to have him, That's my belief. That's what I believe. So I feel like, you sound good. Like I told you, you would never know you went through what you went through, You sound real good. But keep talking to peoples and like this, it don't only heal you, it healed me too, because a lot of things y'all saying healing me. Because I was the one that, they used to say, she'll do anything for you. But I had to stop because it was hurting me. But that's a hard. And I'm still struggling with that. God, do I let my siblings go? They terrible people. But if I want to be happy, I got to let them go. I got to grow up.
I tell people it hurts to set boundaries.
Yeah, thank you.
It does. It hurts to set boundaries. And you made me think about that, and just listening to you, it's so healthy to do, but it's not easy. And everybody always say, oh, you got to set boundaries. You got to choose you. That is not easy.
It's not easy.
When a person is used to that normal thing, which is helping everybody, you're the helper. You sound like you're the oldest probably in your family.
I'm the fifth one.
Really?
I'm the fifth one. That's why I don't understand. I was the one that you better not bother. I was the outspoken. That's why I don't understand. God, why did she get some of my character? Because I didn't play. I did not play. But I changed. And when I changed, everybody started beating me
Well,
up.
y'all sound like y'all are balanced, though.
Yeah, we have our days. But we balanced. Don't bother she don't let me know a lot of stuff because she know I would not let nobody bother. Don't play with my children and my grandchildren. I don't play that.
Absolutely.
I will walk. And my thing is, I had to support all of them. My 4 siblings. Nobody couldn't bother them. If anybody bother them, they know they come and get me. And I'm going to handle it. I'll do that today, though.
Okay. Yeah, and I like how you said that it's healing you as well, because it's healing me too.
It's healing me.
When you were talking about your mother being emotional, unavailable, it made me think about myself and my son. I have a son. He's the same age as you, 20. He'll be 21 in a couple months. And I was a really good provider, right? And I was a really good role model in terms of achievements. I helped him, this is what you should focus on in school. This is what you should think about in careers, that sort of thing. But the emotional piece, I feel like I could have been better. I used to beat myself up about it, and I'm learning how to be kinder to myself and not be so hard on myself. But, so that really hit when you said that, because I saw myself in that. So thank you for that. And I like the way you said you saw her for who she was as a person, right? And not like your mother. You understood that she has her own things going on, and that, parents aren't perfect. We're humans, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We go through things, and we don't, like they say, there's no guidebook on parenting.
Absolutely.
So, you could be great at one thing and not so great at the other. But I think the biggest thing is just to love and support and to nurture your children, and to, let them know that you have their back and you always be there. I think that's like the foundation of it. And so with that being said, do you feel like you had that from your mom or your dad?
From my dad, absolutely not.
Okay.
Like, he just, I don't know. He needed a blueprint on what to do, because he couldn't figure it out at all. Mm-hmm. But my mom, absolutely, like, she was there. She's still there. Like, if I call her, she's going to come. She's a great mom to my brother. I just think she's hurt and she's broken, and that shows so much in the way she parents, in the way she shows up. Even in just conversation, it's just like, I don't want to talk to you because why are you so... It's a difference in being blunt and just being, like, nasty. Mm-hmm. And I feel like she's just nasty. But it's because of the hurt she's experienced. She's like, well, I went through this. You're going to be fine. You'll make it out of it. Oh, okay. And it's like, you can have that thought process, but you have to approach things with empathy and sympathy for other people, and put yourself in their shoes and be like, how would you think about this? How would you feel about that? Mm-hmm. And I think she's just her heart is so hard, and she's so angry with herself that she doesn't even know. I don't even think she knows herself. And I definitely think after my brother passed away, because he passed away from suicide, I think she blames herself.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think she blames herself. And the fact that I dealt with self-harm and I was institutionalized and all of that, kind of almost headed down the same road he was headed. She's like, what did I do wrong as a parent? Why did my kids keep going through this? Because at this point, it's a pattern. and we were raised in 2 separate households, same outcome. So what's going on?
Okay.
You know?
Do you have any advice for parents who may be, I've heard some parents say they do things out of tough love because, they know how the world is, a world that wouldn't coddle you. So I'm gonna exercise tough love on you. It doesn't mean I don't love you, but I just think this is what you need at the time. And it just kind of sounds like that's some of what Amiah was talking about with her mother, among some other things. But do you have any advice for parents?
Absolutely. So for one, we have to stop throwing everything into like one little box. So what we're talking about is not one thing. We're talking about several things.
Okay.
We're talking about culture. Okay. All right. We're talking about culture.
Yes.
Because we all know that, our elders was like, you're going to get it in blood. You're going to be okay. You don't need to be crying and all this. They were more like, you get over it. You pray about it and you better get over it. And that's it.
Yeah.
You have another thing when it comes to culture is timing. Right now, her generation, our generation, and our parents' generation, they move differently. Mental health is seen differently. Emotional intelligence is a thing now when it used to even be a thing.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the era, the culture. You're talking about, her environment. Whenever if you talk about this situation or any other parent, everybody's environment is different. And then now you're talking about a person that's grieving. And you're talking about so big now, and then aside from that, you're still just an individual. You're just an individual trying to figure it out just like everybody else. Yeah. But the problem is we think it's a way everything should be done. And this one way, this box, and then it becomes stigmatized.
Yes.
Because I didn't do it this way, I'm not a good mom. And now your mom probably is beating herself up because this happened or that happened. But she did it the best way she knew to do because I bet you her mom or her dad probably had some similar ways.
Yeah.
So who did she learn from? She did what was normal. Remember I said earlier?
Yes.
She did what was normal. So what it takes is someone to say, hey, I want to do something uncomfortable. It's not my norm. Okay. It's not my norm. And so also a lot of knowledge and understanding yourself and understanding you don't belong in a box. You're uniquely made by God. You don't belong in a box. Yeah. You have to consider it all. The culture, what are they going through? And as parents, we have to stop saying, well, I had it hard, you'll get over it, or you'll be okay because if I can do it, you can do it too. We're built different. Yeah. We're 2 totally different individuals. What I can maintain and handle, you may not be able to handle because your tolerance level may be totally different. That doesn't mean that you're weaker than me.
Yes.
But you are you and I am me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I would say to the parents. We all have to be mindful and be teachable because guess what? If you have a child, you do not know everything. They teaching you.
They teaching you. They surely do.
They're teaching you.
Yeah.
And I wish that something like more parents understood that as your kids get older, it's not that they're losing respect for you. It's just like they're growing up. So when we're coming to you and we're like, hey, you're not all that in a bag of chips and here's some stuff you could work on, it's not degrading you or we're not being disrespectful or defiant. You're a person just like me. So if you can call me out and punish me and do all this, I should be able to do the same thing to you. We're both people. And I think it is that lack of emotional intelligence. And it's like, well, you're coming off this kind of way. No, I'm just having a conversation. But sure, you think you know it all, so go ahead. And I don't know. I just wish more parents understood that.
It could be accountable.
Kids.
It could be accountable. I'm glad you said what you just said. It's hard for people to be accountable. It's very hard, especially a parent, because what? Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Stay in a child's place.
Right.
Yeah. But a child's place is to get you together because you're starting out and you don't know nothing about this baby that's coming into this world. So you're going to learn every day because they're going to evolve. And as they evolve, you better get used to change and difference because they're not going to be what you think they're going to be.
I like that. When you talk, I've talked to people of different cultures, and I've seen that stay in a child's place or don't disrespect me, don't talk back. It's more prevalent in the Black community from what I've experienced.
It is.
That's good. The emotional intelligence and just that being teachable and being able to listen and not be offended by when people give you feedback. And that's really good. Thank you. Did you have anything to say about that?
Well, when I grew up with my mother. She was, she'll take care of us and all that, but she was not a good mother. But I made up in my mind, I'm not going to be the mother she were. And I'm not going to let my children see what I seen with my mother. So I made up in my mind at a young age, I was going to protect them, and I was not going to be that person. And that's what I did. It was hard, but I did it, Like I told on the last episode, I only felt love for my mother on her deathbed. Oh, wow. And that's sad. And I told God, I was crying and said, this is the mother I always wanted. On her deathbed. But God granted me that. And I thank God for that. I do not hold my mother accountable of what she did, because I'm grown and I got a life and I can make it myself. And that's what we got to stop. We got to really stop blaming other people. Yes, it's real. It hurts. What are you going to do about it?
Exactly.
And once we start that, we can make it. Because if we keep on blaming people, it's real, what they did to us. But we ain't getting nowhere. We're going around in that circle. But once we step out the box and say, I'm not going to blame no more. I don't like what they do. I'm going to put my boundary. I'm not going to let you hurt. See it for what it is.
Absolutely.
And once you see it for what it is, you can go forward. Yeah. Because hurting people hurt people. And these people got problems. But we shouldn't get there. And as an auntie, we need more aunties. We need more uncles, more grandmamas that tell the mother you're wrong for what you're doing.
I heard a village. That's what you just said. We need the village, right?
Thank you, God. Thank you. Yeah, we do. I see you do something. You're a doctor. No, you're wrong for how the way you talk to that girl. You have no right. Who are you? I respect your degree, but who are you to talk to her like that?
That got nothing to do with respect. You still got to respect people.
Come on. And that's where we're losing it. Because we feel like people got these professions, they can't be told nothing. And they can say anything, even in the church. You can say, no, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. Even as a child, it's not so much as a stay in a child place, but who are you to disrespect me like that? It's the way you come at a person.
Exactly.
The approach.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the approach.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
come to me right now and say, Miss Freeman, I don't like what you said, and you should have, okay. But if you come in, no, I'm coming back at you. No, who are you talking to?
So, okay, that's a good point. But think about it from a child's perspective. A child doesn't really know how to manage their emotions and their feelings, and they may not know how to communicate. So what's the best way for a child who's going through some things with their mother or father? How should they communicate with their parents to let them know, hey, I don't like the way you did this, or this made me feel this kind of way? What advice would you give?
First of all, the parents got to be grown up. If the parents don't grow up, they ain't gonna give you no good advice. But if you growed up and understand it, you'll sit down and talk to them. Listen, I know I was wrong what I said, and we're gonna try to do it better. Let's both of us work on our attitude, our ways. I see the problem. We're gonna try to work on it, but it's gonna take both of us to work on this situation. One can't do it.
And the other thing I want to add to that is not the child that should create the foundation for them to be able to communicate. It's the parent.
It's the parent.
Because if you create a space or an environment where they feel safe to talk to you, they will talk to you. But if a child is forced to hold it in, mask it, and then they finally release it, it is going to come out any kind of way.
Yeah.
But it is really, unfortunately, and I'm so sorry, parents, it's really on us. You chose to bring them here to create a space where they feel safe to come to you. So me and my kids, even though I'm a tough mom too, my kids are around the same age as you, 18 and 19. And I'm not perfect. But I did, we gonna have movie night, let's talk, you can come talk to me. And my parents even tell me sometimes, hey, you gave them too much opinion, allowed them to have too many opinions. Well, listen, I don't want them to go get it from the streets.
That's true.
I have 2 young black men. And I don't want that. So come and talk to me. Let's talk about it. Okay, we need to hash it out. And sometimes we're going to disagree and we may argue. Yeah. But let's get it together as a family, figure it out because we're not perfect, and get through it,
Yeah, okay. All right, that's good. Thank you. And I can see the different in the responses with the different generations. So, and you did mention that earlier about generation. So that's very interesting. I heard you talk about you mentioned your brother You said your brother died by suicide, and I do want to just send my condolences. Can you please just tell us a little bit about how your experience with that? Like, how did you deal with that? Did you and your brother have talks before he took his life, and what was it like? Just if you could share a little bit about your brother with us.
Yeah. So he was 5 years older than me, so we were going through that kind of like, we're both grown. You're not gonna tell me what to do. You can't like little boy, little girl me anymore. So we weren't beefing, but we weren't talking every day either. And so I hadn't seen him for like a year also. So we were distant, but we were still close because he could call me, "What's up? What do you need? I'm there." I didn't know. I didn't see the signs. I didn't know anything was wrong. Hearing the stories now, the people he was around, it was so many signs. And I think they just were too caught up in their own world to care enough to see, to understand. I don't really know. I wasn't there. But I remember I called to tell him happy birthday. He didn't answer. Then he called me back. Then I didn't answer. And his birthday's on December 6th. He died on December 12th. I was going to see Christmas lights with my friend. My parents are calling me. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I just, your stomach drops. And you're like, something's wrong. Yeah. And I was like, okay. Then I'm like, I have anxiety. So I'm just the anxious queen. Like, whatever. It's nothing's wrong. I'm just in my mind. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, something's wrong. So end up, my stepdad gets me to the house. He's like, we got to go to Alabama. And I'm like, okay, that's a 5-hour drive to where we live. And I'm like, I don't want to drive that. Like I'm already on edge. And so I'm like, is he dead? Is he dead? And they're not saying anything. So I'm like, okay. So I just remember I closed my eyes and I prayed. And I was like, God, let me hear what he hears. Because what I was initially told was that he was in an accident. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if he's in an accident, he's alive, I'm going to hear some sirens, or even if he's like unconscious, it's going to be like a stillness. Mm-hmm. But I just heard nothing. Like, it was just like, just nothing. And I was like, oh. So I think that in the moment I knew. And I didn't actually get confirmation from my mom until we were like halfway to Alabama, and she told me. Then I started getting the calls, and I'm like, what people are saying don't sound like he was in an accident. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of putting the pieces together, and then I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure he ended his own life, But I didn't know for sure till the next morning. My mom told me that he had shot himself in his car. And, so I made that drive to Alabama, and we were just down there. And I'll never forget the look on everybody's faces, like walking in the house. Like, my grandpa, his head was just in his hands. Like, my auntie came up to me. She was like, I got this. Like, don't carry this burden. But it's like, that was my heart. Like, that was like the one person I did have in the world, because he's the only person that understood our life growing up. Like, my mom didn't get it because she wasn't there. Like, she was there, but not really. She didn't go through what me and him went through. So only him and I shared that experience. And so just knowing that was gone, and knowing that I would never get that back. Oh, now we get emotional. That was hard. That was really hard. Yeah. And I didn't feel it though. I didn't cry. I didn't cry to his funeral. Like, I was just on go. His little visual thing, I'm just up there. I prayed. I spoke. I was like, this is fine. Like, it's going to be okay. I think my brain was in denial, and I was just trying to, like, fuel myself to keep going. But then once we got back home, it was just like, okay. Mm-hmm. Like, the emotion stops, planning everything stops. You just have to sit with it. Mm-hmm. And for a while, I was positive. Like, I was like, God's going to get me through this, and, I just got to pray. And I got accepted into college not too long after that, and it was my senior year, so I'm like, I can't stop. I have to graduate. Like, I don't have time to sit in it. I really don't. But that did not get me far, because I was in college, and it just hit me. Mm-hmm. And I was I lived with my aunt at the time. I went to college in Gainesville, Georgia, and I was living with her. She worked nights, so she wasn't there. And I just texted my friend, and I was like, this is the last night I'm going to be on earth. And I was so prepared to not be here. Like, I was so prepared to end everything. Because I just was done. Like, the pain, the hurt.
Yeah.
I didn't want to feel it. And I remember my aunt, she came and got me because I had to go to church for school. And she came and got me. And her face was just red. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I was like, they know, you know. So now it's like that panic. Like, when your parents find out how you feel, it's kind of like, oh, now I got to explain. I got to talk about it. And it's like, these are the last people I want to talk to, you know. And she just was like, sit in the living room. We got back home, sitting in the living room. And I could just tell it was like eating her up. And that was the moment, like, I knew even if I don't want to be here, I can't leave. Because I can't put my family through that twice.
Okay.
So it's like, even now sometimes I still have that thought of like, he beat me to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if I want to go, I can't inflict this type of pain on these people.
That's good.
So it's like, I'm living and I'm starting to live for myself. But for so long, I was living just because, like, I didn't want to hurt anybody else. So it felt miserable to live because I didn't want to, but I had to. And that definitely, like, was one of the hardest things I've had to go through. That I lost a lot of friends. I lost myself. I lost my mind. Like, I had to go get real help. I started self-harming. I started cutting myself. And I hate when people are like, oh, that's for attention. Like, I just need to feel. Like, I couldn't even cry. So I'm like, I just want to feel something. And just the pain. I don't know if it's like a medical reason your brain responds to that. But the pain was like, it was like a relief. Like, it was like, finally, I can feel something. And it just took me down like a long, very dark path of just hurt and sorrow and despair. And then one day I just had to be like, I can't keep living like this. Like, if I gotta be alive, I might as well make the best of it. If I can't leave, like, I might as well just try to turn it around and do the best that I can with the cards I was given. Because I can't go bring them back. I can't change how it played out. But it does feel like I'm alone. It feels like I'm by myself. I don't have friends, really. I don't have a strong support group or a strong system, so it is just me. And that gets hard. It definitely gets hard, but I know, like, God is always here. So when I do feel like I'm just breaking, or if I do just feel alone, it's like, God's got me. And I think being alone has taught me so much about myself and so much about my strength and my resilience. Like, I'm 20 and I've been through, like, terrible things, and I will be okay. And I'm sure whatever else life does at me, I will be okay. Not even because of me, just because that's God. Like, I don't have any other explanation but God. Yeah.
Okay. All right. She says she doesn't have any other explanation but God. She said, I've been through a lot of things. I'm only 20, but I've been through so much, and it's heavy. And I don't even want to be on this earth. I feel like I have nobody but God. You know, what do you have to say about?
Well, I understand where she's coming from, because I never want to kill myself. And I ain't going to cut myself. I don't like pain. But I understand where she's coming from. And one thing I learned through all that darkness, he always will come up with something. He always will change something. He always will send somebody. When he got a calling on your life, you really go through. You go through. I'm telling you, people don't understand it. They say, well, I went through this because I got a calling. And the thing is, the devil wanted to take you out when you was a young person. That's why he did all that to you. Since he couldn't take you out, so he still want to keep putting, and God still finna give you more strength, and you finna fight, and it finna get better. It's just been to get better for your life. It is over. And this is what God is telling me to tell you. It is over, daughter. He can't do no more than I let him, but it's over. But your mindset got to see it. It is over. I don't care what he brings to you, it is over. And you keep telling that demon, it is over. It is over. It is real what you went through. It's hurt, it's painful, but you can make it with the help of God. And he the only one can help you. He the only one can bring you over. This stuff is real. And we better realize it's real and stop pancaking and telling people, oh, but you can get over. No, sometimes you don't want to get over. Sometimes you don't even want to talk to God. Sometimes you're mad with God. Sometimes you don't understand why. You bless them, you cover them. Why couldn't you cover me? And so, but God is saying it is over in this season for many people. And it's going to get better. I believe it from my heart. If I tell y'all my story, y'all will be in here crying. I didn't go through a lot of, but the abuse I went through ain't no different from your abuse. God had told me, some people can get a bump on their arm and want to kill themselves. You cannot judge people because of what they went through. Everybody got a breaking point. Everybody got problems. And so your problem ain't no different. You know, you went through a little heavier than I went through. But my problem was devastating to me. It was devastating. And I couldn't understand why people would treat me like that, the hard I got. But it's over now. I'm not going to figure it out. You know.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. Dr. Johnson, we talked about self-harm. She talked about self-harm and suicide. And I remember when you were talking, Amiah, you were talking about there were signs with your brother. And so, Dr. Johnson, can you just kind of tell us about the signs? Like, what should we look for in young people when it comes to, like, suicidal ideation?
To be honest, one thing that people don't realize is people will talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. So people say, oh, if they really want to do it, they're not going to talk about it. That is a lie.
That's a lie. Yeah.
They will talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, you just really have to be mindful. You know, some of the signs, the general signs they say is if they start giving things away or if they start, you know, withdrawing. But everybody doesn't do it the same way. Right. Sometimes I had a young lady years ago who she died by suicide. Mm-hmm. And she was laughing. When she was trying to overdose, she was laughing about it. And I told him, hey, you know, I think she needs to go to get some, you know, go to a psych hospital. And they overruled my recommendation at the emergency room. So about a month later, she came back. When she OD'd this time, they had to airlift her, but she didn't make it, 15 years old. But she was laughing. Who would think a person that's laughing would be, you know, about to, you know, she's laughing. She said, I'm going to finish it. I don't know why y'all stopped me this time because I'm going to do it. So really, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people say there's signs. Mm-hmm. It depends on the person.
Okay.
You have some people that go completely quiet.
Yeah.
You have some people that, you know, probably you never thought in the world that they would consider this, but something just so detrimental happened, traumatizing, and it's just like, it's over. And they do it so quick, and you're like, I wonder what if I had been there for that 1 second or whatever, you know. So you just never really know. It depends on the person. But, of course, they have, like I said, the general things. Maybe some people talk about it. Maybe some people get quiet. Maybe they start giving things away. You know, and as far as self-harm, I'm going to tell you something a lot of people don't understand. I do crisis work. So I do, in 5 counties, I go out and do on-call crisis for people that's suicidal, homicidal, psychotic, whatever. Just because a person's self-harming don't mean they want to die.
That's right.
So a lot of times I'm getting calls like they're in crisis because they're cutting their arm. No, they're not. How long have they been cutting their arm? They've been doing it every day for a month. Guess what? That is their unhealthy coping skill that they're using to cope with whatever it is that they're feeling or not feeling. Because she said she wanted to feel. Mm-hmm. So she wasn't feeling anything. Mm-hmm. She was numb, correct? Yes, ma'am. So she wanted to feel something. So that didn't mean she was, I'm going to cut myself. I want to die today. Right. No, she wanted to just feel something. Mm-hmm. And so I try to teach parents or people that call us that, hey, maybe help them find a healthier way of feeling. Yes. You know, some people go and exercise. Guess what? You exercise hard enough, you going to feel it. Yeah. You know? So that's what I recommend for people that's self-harming. Mm-hmm. go at that or taking a rubber band and snapping it real hard to hurt themselves because it hurts,
Yes.
things like that because they want to feel something. A lot of times they prefer the pain. They prefer that. I've had clients that pull out the hair, things like that. They want to feel something, but typically it's something we would consider pain. But I will, at the end of the day, say is, first of all, suicide and self-harm is not the same. A lot of people put them together. They are not the same. Okay. And suicide doesn't look the same for everybody either.
Okay. Thank you for that. And so I work for a crisis call line, crisis hotline, and I have people calling in who are suicidal, and some are just in emotional pain. And like you said, I remember this one call I got, someone who was a cutter. They were saying that they were in so much mental and emotional pain that they would much rather have the physical pain than to deal with the emotional pain, and that was their reason for cutting or self-harm. And I also remember a caller was saying, they were contemplating suicide and they had made the decision to do it.